Hip mobility, a seemingly overlooked aspect of fitness, holds immense power over your overall health and performance. This vital component of our body's mechanics is the key to fluid and pain-free movement. A well-tuned hip joint can make the difference between a powerful athlete and a weekend warrior nursing a nagging injury. It's not just about sports either. From picking up a pencil off the floor to chasing after a runaway toddler, hip mobility affects every facet of our daily lives. So buckle up, folks. In the next few minutes, we will delve into the top 10 exercises to unlock pain-free movement and improve your hip mobility. Our first exercise is the hip circles. This exercise is a wonderful way to start off your hip mobility journey. Stand tall and place your hands on your hips. Now, imagine you're inside a barrel and you're trying to touch its sides with your hips. Gently rotate your hips in a circular motion. Make sure to keep your back straight and your movements controlled. This is not a speed contest, so take your time. Feel the stretch in your hip flexors and glutes. Hip circles, a simple yet effective exercise to improve hip mobility. Moving on to the next exercise, forward lunges. To begin, stand tall with your feet hip-width apart. Take a big step forward with your right foot, lowering your body until your right knee is at a 90-degree angle. Ensure your back is straight and your core engaged. Push off your right foot, returning to the starting position. Repeat the movement with your left leg. This alternating pattern continues for the duration of the exercise. Remember, the aim is controlled movement, not speed. Forward lunges, a powerful exercise to strengthen and mobilize your hips. Next up, the pigeon pose. Start by getting into a hands and knees position. Bring your right knee forward and place it behind your right wrist. The right foot should rest behind the left wrist. Extend your left leg behind you, keeping your hip pointed toward the floor. If you can, lower down to your forearms. Feel the stretch in your right buttock and your left hip. Hold this pose for a few breaths, then switch sides. The pigeon pose, a fantastic exercise to stretch and open up your hip muscles. Our fourth exercise is the butterfly stretch. To perform this, sit on the floor, bend your knees and bring your feet together, allowing your knees to fall out to the sides. Grasp your feet with your hands, sit up tall and press your knees towards the floor. Maintain this position, ensuring your spine is straight and your shoulders are relaxed. This stretch works the inner thighs, hips and lower back, promoting flexibility and mobility. Remember, it's not about how low your knees go, but the stretch you feel. The butterfly stretch, a great exercise for improving hip mobility and flexibility. Now, we move on to the hip flexor stretch. This exercise is a godsend to those with tight hip muscles. Let's dive into the process. Start by getting into a lunging position with one knee on the ground. Ensure the foot of your forward leg is directly under your knee. Gradually lean forward, pushing your pelvis down and forward. Keep your chest upright, shoulders down and relaxed. Feel the stretch in your hip flexors. Hold this position for about 20 to 30 seconds, and then switch sides. The hip flexor stretch, an essential exercise to relieve tight hip muscles. Next, we have the glute bridge. This is a top-notch exercise that targets the muscles in your hips and the glutes. To perform it, lie on your back with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and arms at your sides. Push through your heels, lifting your hips off the ground by squeezing your glutes. Hold for a beat, and then slowly lower your hips back to the starting position. The key here is to keep your core tight and maintain a straight line from your shoulders to your knees at the top of the lift. The glute bridge, a fantastic exercise to strengthen your hips and glutes. Our seventh exercise is the frog pose. This pose is a fantastic way to improve hip mobility. Start by getting on all fours. Now, widen your knees until you feel a comfortable stretch in your inner thighs. Keep your feet aligned with your knees, your toes pointing outwards, and your hips pressed back towards your heels. Maintain a straight spine and keep your elbows on the ground. Remember, the goal is to open up and stretch your hips, not to push yourself into discomfort. The frog pose, a powerful exercise to open up and stretch your hips. Next up, the clamshell exercise. This is a brilliant move to target those hip muscles and boost your mobility. Start by lying on your side, with your legs stacked and knees bent at a 45-degree angle. Keep your feet touching as you lift your top knee like a clam opening its shell, hence the name. Don't forget to engage your core and keep your hips steady. Lower your knee back down and repeat. This exercise is not about speed, it's about control and precision. The clamshell exercise, an effective exercise to strengthen your hip muscles. Our ninth exercise is the fire hydrant. This exercise is all about control and precision. Start by positioning yourself on all fours, ensuring that your hands are directly under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Now, keeping your knee bent at a 90-degree angle, lift one leg out to the side. It's like a dog at a fire hydrant, hence the name. Try not to lean or tilt your body. Maintaining balance is key here. This exercise targets your gluteus muscles, helping to improve hip mobility and strength. The fire hydrant, a great exercise for improving hip mobility and strength. Our final exercise is the hip flexor lunge stretch. This stretch targets the hip flexors, which often become tight due to prolonged sitting or intense exercise. To perform this, start by stepping into a lunge position. Your forward knee should be directly over your ankle, creating a 90-degree angle. Gently push your hips forward, maintaining a straight back and keeping your rear knee on the ground. You should feel a stretch in the front of your hip on the side of your rear leg. Hold this for 20 to 30 seconds, then switch legs. The hip flexor lunge stretch, a perfect exercise to end your hip mobility routine. So, there you have it, the top 10 hip mobility exercises to unlock pain-free movement. From hip circles to the hip flexor lunge stretch, each exercise is a stepping stone towards improved mobility and pain-free movement. Consistency is key, so make these exercises a part of your daily routine. Correct technique is paramount, ensuring you reap the maximum benefits while minimizing the risk of injury. Remember, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Start your hip mobility journey today. Don't forget to subscribe for more fitness tips and tricks.